Through the times of me being extremely selfish, I've learned how to pour into others. How can you pour from an empty cup? How could you not be selfish? How could you not love yourself more than others? If you love yourself the most by making yourself a better person, not by pillaging and stealing and being dishonest, no, by building yourself up and making yourself better, how can you not naturally make others better? Today, I'm gonna be honest with you. I did not know what I was gonna talk about today. Then I had a conversation with my father, and I finally got what I think I want to talk about, what I am going to talk about. I don't know if I reiterated this, talked about this in any of my videos, but I think this topic is needed right now. We're going to talk about selfishness, but not just selfishness. We're going to talk about having your cup full. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You gotta be selfish. You gotta work on yourself. You gotta be self-accountable. You gotta be serious about your time. You gotta be serious about what you want to do. You gotta be, if somebody's calling your phone, you don't answer because you got this important thing that you want to do over here on the side. You gotta be that way, because for your mind, for your mental, this is what path that you've chosen to do to make yourself a better person, so you can be better for somebody else, so you could attract somebody better for you, so you could bring forth that good energy that you've been putting into yourself is now being radiated outward into the ether. So people talk about you are what you attract, as above so below. I'm going to talk about as within so without. This is what you see because this is what you put within. Because of the things that you put within yourself, you are now able to see things, attract things that you've never attracted before, because you've been working out 4 or 5 days a week, 4, 5, 6, 7 days a week. You ain't been drinking no alcohol, or you've been learning how to be more emotionally intelligent, or you learn how to be how to communicate your problems and feelings towards your partners or your friends, or you learn how to give your friends flowers. You learn how to appreciate the people that you got around you. You're learning. Even if you haven't learned it yet, you are learning. So as you become better, as you think better about yourself, as you become more narcissistic, which all that means is loving yourself. You love yourself. You have an appreciation for yourself. The balancing act of that, of loving yourself, is that you also respect the things that are outside of yourself as well, but you're never giving more than what you got to somebody else or something else that doesn't pour back into you. The friends that I consider my friends are the people that pour back into me. As much as I pour back into them, and it's not a tit for tat thing, it's a read the room thing. It's a, this, something is wrong with him today. Let me ask him what's wrong. I know that he enjoys this. I know that he likes to talk about. I know that he doesn't. I know that this person values honesty. Let me be honest with this person because I feel like I can trust this person. This person has a full cup. Why would I want to poke a hole in that person's full cup by trying to be damaging to him or her when all they done was pour back into me when I needed pouring? How can you pour from an empty cup? Let's talk about me. I work out 5 days a week. It used to be 7. But through stresses and lack of sleep, I had to seriously consider taking breaks because there's an ideal self that I wanted to hit physically. Of course, spiritually, mentally as well. So I work out 5 days a week. I read many self-help books. I've had plenty conversations with people that have taught me things. Once I've got this new information, whether it's from a book, whether it's from a person, I try to apply this new thing that I've learned immediately. So my genetics, my brain, my prefrontal cortex, my neuroplasticity, everything is learning. Everything is getting added to who I am to make me better, because I've learned this thing to make me better from this person. So I want to apply this thing. For many years, I've been pouring into myself because at one point I was pouring into others. So I made the choice to be extremely selfish. And you got to look at things from the yin and yang perspective. Everything has a positive side to it. So when I say extremely selfish, I am extremely selfish with my time. I'm very selfish with it. If I'm doing something to refill my cup and you are taking away that thing from me, tomorrow I need to go to the gym. That's me pouring into my cup. Tomorrow I need to edit this video. That's me pouring into my cup. From me pouring into my cup, I also have the ingredient of, if somebody wants to speak that's in my circumference, listen, I give them the communication. I give them that communication. Yo, listen, I'm not gonna lie. I need to do this. I'm gonna be busy at this time, but I'm going to set away this time for you so we can have a conversation. We enjoy each other's company. We could talk about anything. Let's talk. At this time, I will not be busy. I will set out my time. Let's do that. Let's pour into each other's cup. It wouldn't sound like pouring into each other's cup. What it'll sound like is, absolutely, we could chop it up. Let's talk. You know it's love. Let's go. Through the times of me being extremely selfish, I've learned how to pour into others. How can you pour from an empty cup? How could you not be selfish? How could you not love yourself more than others? If you love yourself the most, by making yourself a better person, not by pillaging and stealing and being dishonest. No, by building yourself up and making yourself better. How can you not naturally make others better? Because you see, when you look into the mirror and you know the amount of work you put in, and you get closer and closer to that ideal self that you've been thinking about, that you've been dreaming about, how can you not how could that not rub off against other people that you interact with, that you love, that you enjoy company? How could you not? How could your friends not become better because you're making yourself better? And then you're teaching them. And then they're teaching you. How can you pour from an empty cup? So for all my listeners listening, I hope I didn't ramble, because this is literally off the top of the head. If you see yourself giving when you know you can't give, whether it's time, money, whatever it is, and you feel that strain of putting your hand in your pocket and putting it into somebody else's, you have not poured enough into your cup. Your cup is too empty for you to be pouring whatever you're pouring into somebody else's. Your cup is the most important cup to be filled. You can't be helpful anywhere without a full cup. You can't be helpful. If you have not worked on yourself, how can you be helpful to society? How can you be somebody of great value within your bloodline? How can you be respected? You need to be constantly learning and building yourself. You need to be constantly doing the things that make you happy, that make you productive, so you could rub off on others, so you could pour in others, and it doesn't feel like you still feel like you got a lot more to give. You understand? If you're scarce, if you're not abundant, how can you attract abundance? If you don't have confidence in yourself, how can you attract people that are attracted to confidence? You must pour into yourself. If there's somebody around you constantly taking from you, and you haven't put yourself as priority, you must step out of the premises. You must leave. You must go back to the drawing board and go into that training room, go into that gym, lift those weights, read those books, go back to that conversation that you had where you could have had it could have been a better outcome to that conversation because you was emotionally not in control. What could have you done better? Okay, I could have done this better. Let me learn how to apply that into me. Let me learn how to be better at communication. Let me learn how to be better at all these listed things that could help me pour into other people's cup. But first, I must make my cup runneth over. Adolf out.